What's the QLA secret sauce? I get asked that question a lot. Okay, so here's the answer. First, the QLA methodology that Dan Pena created more than 25 years ago is simple. But as I say an awful lot, simple is not the same as easy. So the first thing you need to do is you need to know what to do. You can get that through the free materials on Dan's site, on my site. If you can get in, you can go to the Castle seminar, which I still consider to be the gold standard. You can grab my boot camp, that's on my website. That's about 12 hours worth of video instruction on following the steps. And following the steps is absolutely critical. Most people make the mistake of jumping ahead to a deal without putting in the work to get your ideas squared away, build a dream team, get your professionals on board, accountants and lawyers, on a discounted and deferred fee basis, success fee basis. But if you do all of those things, you have to believe that you can do it, which is really what you learn is that QLA is really about the mental attitude, the mental toughness, and believing you can do it. So there's a couple things you can do on that front. One, I suggest that you read Release Your Brakes by James Newman. And then second, I recommend that you go ahead and watch a History Channel Special Forces series of 8 episodes called The Selection. And many people have told me that that's as inspirational as many of the other things that they look at and as helpful as Release Your Brakes. So I got an email today from Francois Martin. And what he said was, P.S. I never watch television, but following your advice, I watched The Selection, and it is the most dramatic and inspirational piece I have ever seen. It hasn't left my thoughts since, and I know it will serve me greatly for times to come. I'd like to thank you immensely for that recommendation. It has not fallen on deaf ears. So I'd encourage you to go look at that. I think there's also a movie called The Selection. You do not want that one. You want the Special Forces experiment, basically. And then the last 2 steps are really pretty simple. You need to kiss a lot of frogs. There is no substitute for making the calls, making the connections on LinkedIn, et cetera, et cetera. Dan said it over and over again, you're 2,000 cold calls away from your first deal. I would agree with that. And in today's world, with LinkedIn, it is much easier to essentially have a warm call instead of a cold call. And then lastly, the thing that you can't get away from, you have to take massive action. So if you do all of those things, if you know what to do, you get your mind straight on how to do it and believe you can do it, you kiss a lot of frogs, and you take massive action, I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised with what happens. The QLA methodology has worked. There's no question about that. Whether it works for you, can't promise that. But there's no question the process works. And again, whether it's the free materials, the Castle seminar, or the boot camp that I put together, and now the recordings are available from that, go ahead and understand QLA and then follow the steps. That part of it's critical. Okay, so if you have any questions or comments or ideas for future episodes, please email bruce@brucewhipple.com. And if you're not already on our mailing list, head over to brucewhipple.com and sign up and grab any of the free reports. That'll put you on the mailing list. There is a lot of free information you can use to acquire already profitable businesses. This is Bruce Whipple. Thanks for listening to the Business Acquisition Podcast. And remember, you miss 100% of the opportunities you failed to take. And procrastination truly is the thief of time. So do something today, please. Your future self will be proud of you.